You just said he's entitled to an opinion. And for that, you end up losing your job.
Yeah, because my whole point is that you are a journalist and a celebrity. So therefore, you're paid to give your opinion. The same as I was paid to give my opinion. That's why we're there. And freedom of speech.
Fact. When it was all going down on The Talk at CBS, did you imagine in your wildest nightmare that within days you would have been fired from a show you'd been on for 10 years?
Good question.
I was actually in my 11th year, and the situation, I never thought in my wildest dreams that my career after 50 years would have ended that way. I mean, what did I want my legacy to be? I was fired because I was accused of being a racist.
What was so disingenuous was their initial attack from Cheryl Underwood, your co-presenter, who I know, I've been on The Talk many times with you and with Cheryl, always very friendly.
Okay.
But that day, the mood changed, and it looked like she was deliberately coming for you for, in her eyes, endorsing a racist, me. And when you said, well, what's he said that's racist, she couldn't tell you.
Why? Why?
And eventually she explained, my refusal to believe Meghan Markle basically made me a racist.
Oh yes, that was the whole setup. That you were a racist because you had an opinion on somebody that was of mixed race.
Come on now, dawg.
I've never known you have a racist bone in your body. I would like to think you've never felt that in me.
Never.
We are not racist people.
No.
We never judge people because of their skin colour. I've certainly never written anything about Meghan Markle because of her mixed race
Skin
background.
colour, religion, you and I could give, you know...
What do you mean by that?
That's not the way we run our lives.
When you got fired, you get turfed out by the cancel culture mob. Twitter is ablaze. They're joyful, they're gleeful, they've got rid of you, they've got you out of that job, they've had you fired for having an opinion.
Yes, exactly.
What was going through your mind when the first few days after that?
It was, listen, I don't scare easily, you know that. But some of the comments that were coming through on my social media were so horrific about cutting my throat, my husband's, even the dogs.
What?
They wanted to kill my dogs. And then they started on Ozzy, on his site, and then my kids. And I just thought, this is just insanity.
See, I had the same thing.
Are you sure about that?
I went back to CBS and I said, you, not only can I not earn a living, but now I have to have 24-hour security because of you. And they go like, so what?
What? What the?
So your lives were being put under threat by these menacing people on social media, and you don't know who's real and who's not. Also, your career just basically ended. I mean, no one would touch you. You were toxic. You were driven out in a race storm. Therefore, you were untouchable.
What is he doing?
It was, I mean, literally untouchable. It was from, you know, everyday stuff comes in, you do this, that, and, you know, charity stuff and everything. The phone never rang. That was it. You are untouchable.
So when people say cancel culture doesn't exist, you lived through it. And you lived through it because of me. And I thought what happened to me was bad enough. What happened to you, to me, was utterly shameful. But cancel culture is real, isn't it? You become this person that no one will want to employ because suddenly you're that person.
Oh, absolutely. You are untouchable. You are an untouchable. And what makes me so mad is I'm in a blessed situation that no matter whatever happens to my career, my husband will always take care of me. But what happens to a person that, you know, say I didn't have a husband and I had kids to bring up, right? What happens to people like that are cancelled or fired because they've used the wrong term or something's taken out of context and they're fired?
Boy.
To the average person, what happens to that person?
Have you ever spoken again to Cheryl Underwood, who was your co-presenter on?
I sent her 3 texts of apologies, and she never got back. And then she went on to national TV and said that I hadn't apologised.
Well, duh.
So what I did was I actually, on my social media, printed the text. And then she said, well, that's not an apology because it wasn't... I wanted a phone call, and
sorry,
she never called me.
And let me just hold one moment. What are you apologising for? I thought you had nothing to apologise for. What I'm also interested in is what happened to you later, because your life, I mean, it didn't completely fall apart because you had your family, but it was incredibly tough for you.
Yeah, right. It was tough for me, and it did affect me mentally. It honestly did, because after everything that I'd felt, all my dreams I had achieved, everything that I'd wanted to do, I had achieved. And did I want my legacy for my family to be, oh, well, your Nana was on television, but everybody said she was racist, so she never went on television again. And that kind of ate me up.
What did that do to you?
It ate me up. I must have cried for 3 months.
Damn!
Really?
Never stopped crying. And my friend, Sarah Gilbert, who used to, you know Sarah.
Yeah, I know from the talk.
Right. She was the one that came up with the idea for the show and was on it.
Okay.
And she said, you need help. You've got to go somewhere. And she recommended somewhere. And then I was doing therapy and ketamine treatment.
Did you get suicidal at any stage?
Not suicidal, because I didn't want to give CBS the satisfaction. Yeah, right.
I'm so glad that we're able to sit here now talking about this. And we're going to come to why you're here and what you're going to be doing next in a moment. You're going to be doing what you do best, talking about news and current affairs and stuff in the papers and so on. I've got to ask you about the Trump interview. He's clearly hinting in my interview that he may run again. He's still popular in America.
Very popular.
And with Joe Biden being such a disaster at the moment, you could see a situation where Trump gets re-elected. Would that be a good thing, do you think, for America?
No, I don't think it would be a good thing. And the thing that frightens me is there is nobody that you could think of that would make a great president.
What do you mean by that?
So the competition is non-existent.
We're both monarchists. We love
Yes.
the royal family. How damaging is this drip, drip, drip behaviour of Meghan and Harry running a kind of rival royal family without any of the need for the duty that goes with that, but with all the money that comes their way from fleecing the royal title?
Good question.
It's just tragic that you can go and try and ruin a monarchy and, you know, what we all grew up with loving, adoring, respecting, and then every time you open your mouth, it's about your family. And the other thing I think that nobody's ever said is their children, their beautiful children, have no family.
That doesn't make sense.
They don't speak to
Never
Meghan's
seen
family.
them, yeah.
They don't speak to the royal family. These children are going to grow
Their
up.
grandfather...
No grandparents.
Their grandfather, Thomas, lives 70 miles away.
Right. Well,
There's an hour's cab ride.
There's no grandfather, there's no aunts, there's no family. So just think of your children when you're talking about cousins and aunts and
I don't think they think
uncles.
about anything but themselves and the bottom line. I'm about to do something special.
Go
Sharon.
on.
I'm about to formally uncancel you. Because you're back now at Talk TV.
Thanks
the
to
same
you.
network with me. Well, I was delighted to help be part of getting you back here. How important is it to you to be back on television doing what you do best on a show called The Talk?
It's very important to me. It's something that I love. And I just, again, you know, didn't want it to end my career in such an ugly way.
And how is Ozzy? My great man. He's just one of my favourite people in the world. Been through the health wars a bit. How's he doing?
He's doing okay. He is. He sends you his love, and he's really looking forward. He's got one more operation left to to do, and then he's dying to come back home.
Well,
So that was a lie.
send him my very best, and I'm now going to have the great honour, Sharon Osbourne, of officially uncancelling you to the world and restoring you to your rightful place as the Queen of the Talk. Let it roll.
Oh, we need confetti.
How many?
You're going to have to forgive me. I just cannot get enough of this Harry and Meghan story. I mean, the fake car crash, just actually trying to pretend that they barely survived what his mother died from. And I shouldn't be laughing because it's so sick, but
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
But I am laughing at the cultural response to it. Everybody making fun of them left and right, just realizing that these people have an illness. And this is what happens. Victimhood, by the way, can become a mental illness. You can be so addicted to constantly being a victim that you just can't stop yourself, even when you're destroying your reputation everywhere. They've completely destroyed their reputations in the UK. They were like, we're going to run to America. It's going to be fine. And now they have already destroyed their reputation here, obviously, because New Yorkers don't like this. New Yorkers don't like the idea.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
That you come to this city for one night and you pretend that you almost died, despite the fact that Taylor Swift lives here, Justin Bieber lives here, stars that are way bigger than you live here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
And none of them have ever had to survive a car chase in Manhattan, mostly because it's impossible. But yeah, the response is amazing. But I'm about to get to the greatest response that has ever been written by a photo agency, plausibly ever written.
Oh my God!
By a lawyer ever, when Harry and Meghan decided to demand all of the photos that were taken that night. Before we get there, let's first cut to Whoopi Goldberg and her response to this fake Diana Part 2 car crash that never was. Take a listen.
Prince Harry and Meghan were followed by paparazzi while leaving the Ziegfeld Theater. Their spokesperson called it a near-catastrophic car chase. Others said it wasn't bad.
Are you serious?
But I think people in New York know if it was possible to have car chases in New York, we'd all make it to the theater on time. But I think their spokesperson referenced something that you generally would reference in Los Angeles. That's where you have chases. That's where you can move at high speeds. Right. I think they were dealing with aggressive paparazzi.
Stop it.
Yeah. But I don't think it was where, you're watching on TV like this, watching the cars go, because, you can't, it just doesn't work in New York.
No, I mean, sometimes I'm in the city and I hear an ambulance trying to get through, and I think that person's dead.
Yeah.
That person is dead.
Because you can't get through. I mean, it's crazy.
They're exactly right. I've lived in New York just like that. And you do think that. Actually, that's very funny from Joy Behar when you see an ambulance trying to get by and they're just bounding on the horn, and there's nowhere to go because it's just gridlock. It's always gridlock. That's why you wear tennis shoes and you walk wherever you have to go. It's senseless to use a taxi. You almost have to be somebody from out of town to use a taxi because we just don't use them. There's no point. It's going to take forever and it's going to cost you tons of money. But yes, and another great take here. Obviously, people are just having fun with this. The paparazzi chasing Harry and Meghan Smollett, and it is, of course, a photo of the
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Sindaro brothers who helped Jussie Smollett stage his own hate crime. You really just have to wonder, how can this be fun for them? I have to wonder the conversations that they're having at home when this happens. Like, are they just both so addicted to drama that they can't simply go out and come home? Like, they can't do anything. They can't go visit his grandparents, go visit his dad, and without there having to be some tragedy. Do they always just go home and go, oh, we've been victimized? So they go to the grocery store and they get back home. They're like, oh, we've been victimized. He asked what color skin the baby was going to be. Kate's daughter threw a temper tantrum. She's 3 years old and she threw a temper tantrum over. What is he doing? The dress. Is this actually how their brains work? Are they both this stupid and emotional.